Welcome to Forecasting with Friends here on this very, very cold Monday, January the 6th. We had a freeze this morning in the Houston area. It was actually the coldest morning that we've had in almost a year. You have to go back to January 17th of 2024. That was the last time we had temperatures this cold. We put together a string of 3 days during that 15th, 16th, 17th of January last year, where we had a low of 20 and we had a low of 16. I think we got down to 16 one night. So the cold weather we have this week is not going to be as extreme actually as what we had last year, and obviously not nearly as extreme as what we had during the big freeze of 2021. But nevertheless, we have to prepare for it. It's been a year since we've had weather this cold, but it's a part of a big winter storm that stretches from, it started out in the Midwest and the Central Plains, and now it's moving across to the East Coast of the United States. And so I actually want to take you on a little video tour. So we have really hundreds of cameras that we have access to. What you're looking at right now is a view from New Jersey. This is Ocean City, New Jersey. And now let's take a look at Atlantic City, New Jersey. I've never been there. It seems like it was a popular place, or at least in its day it was a popular place. So that should be popping up. So that is Atlantic City, New Jersey, where obviously that place is just kind of shut down. I mean, there's not that much going on there with that kind of snow. Now I'm going to take you to a little bit farther down the coastline. We are now going to be looking at, let's see, let me just tell you, this is Wildwood, New Jersey. Some people out there playing around in the snow. Not many. This is like one of those boardwalk, kind of like the Galveston seawall kind of thing. Seaside kind of place where people would usually, be engaging and, going for a nice walk and enjoying the weather. Not so much today. This is Delaware. This next one I'm going to show you here is called, and I'm going to mispronounce this because I'm not familiar with Delaware, but this is Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. So again, kind of pretty, the snow coming on down. Here is Georgetown, Delaware, where we have another winter wonderland. Here is that picture. Georgetown, Delaware. Look at that. Oh, man. Got the flags, of course, at half staff in remembrance of President Carter. And the snow coming on. I mean, those are big snowdrops, snowflakes, that are coming down there. I mean, that really means business. Now, speaking of presidents and politics, I want to take you here now into Washington, D.C., because the snow has been blanketing the Capitol building all morning long as well. Here's a look at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. Here we go. This is interesting because, as we talked with Fox's Doug Luzader earlier this morning, there are members of Congress that have to make it there today because they have to certify the election. They have some, serious business they need to take care of. And so, come heck or high water, they have to get there at some point this morning in some way, shape, or form. So that is going to be, a little bit of I guess, a stressful day for folks there. What about Annapolis, Maryland? Let's take you over to Annapolis, the home of the United States Naval Academy. This is a live view from Annapolis. Again, gosh, just a winter wonderland over there. It really is pretty beautiful, very pretty to look at. Maybe not so nice to be out in it. Just up the road a little bit in Baltimore, Maryland, we have this view. Also, again, kind of looking like a winter wonderland right here. Should be popping up here any second now. There it is. That's Baltimore right now. And finally, the last thing I want to show you is Philadelphia. And I wanted to show you this because it's under a winter storm. They're under a winter storm warning, but also big airport, Philadelphia International Airport. And whenever you have airport delays, it can obviously cause some, ripple effects across the country. And so let me just find this real quick for you. It did look pretty impressive earlier this morning. Here we go. So yeah, let me play this one out. This is going to be Philly, PHL, Philadelphia International Airport, where we've got the snow plows out there. We've got snow all over the parking lot. But, look, they know, the pilots know how to take off and land in this stuff. They get, notifications from the tower and from the airport as to the airport conditions, if it's slippery, with the kind of experience that the other pilots are having when they're braking on the runway, things like that. So anyway, they're ready for it, but it will probably cause some delays. As far as the weather is concerned, you know, around here, yeah, we're dealing with some cold weather today, but this is where the nasty stuff is up there from the areas I was just showing you. We're on the backside of this low where it's really just some drier conditions that are coming in, and your current temperature here in H-Town is 39 degrees. All right, so staying on the topic of travel and the airport I just showed you, several air carriers are offering travel waivers to those who may have their plans disrupted over the next few days by this winter storm. We're talking about American Airlines, Delta, Southwest, United. They're offering some flexibility to travelers who are going to be impacted by the storm. Well, that's very nice of them. The city of Houston is encouraging everyone to prepare for freezing temperatures as this Arctic cold comes in. And here's what you could do to make sure that you stay ready. Some of this you know, some of it you might not think about. So obviously dress warmly if you're going to be outside for any extended period of time. Try to stay indoors in the heat when you can. Bring the pets indoors. We talked about this morning. Yes, if they're a husky or if they're an Alaskan Malamute or, you know, a Akita, whatever, I get it. They're used to being out in the cold, but most dogs. Bring your potted plants indoors, otherwise they might get fried by the cold air tonight. Cover exposed pipes with insulation. If you don't know how to do that, if you go to any home improvement store, they'll tell you how to do it, and generally it's not very expensive. And you'll want to check our app for any weather conditions, road conditions that might be waiting out there for you that might get in your way of traveling. And by the way, the National Weather Service, you know, we had an advisory this morning that was called a cold weather advisory. That previously was called a wind chill advisory. So that was a new one for me this morning, and I'm sure a new one for a lot of you. All right, we have coming up later on in the hour, we do have a live report from Cincinnati, and so I want to make sure that we don't miss out on that. We're going to go ahead and take a break right now, come back with JD's emergency gear test. All right, welcome back to you. Hurricane Beryl and the May derecho caused extended power outages for many of you here in the Houston area. It was another reminder of how we need our emergency kits all year long. Doesn't have to be just for a hurricane. Meteorologist John Dawson is talking about ways to deal with the loss of electricity in today's emergency gear test.
We have had a few events recently that have caused power outages here in Southeast Texas, and dealing with the loss of power is going to be our focus today. But first, you know, I'm going to remind you of those 5 areas that every household should have emergency plans for. That's going to begin, of course, with food and water. Get a long-lasting flashlight or a lantern. Have a way to keep your phone charged when the electricity goes out. And finally, think about your medications and a well-stocked first aid kit. There is no easy one-size-fits-all answer for emergency power. Everyone must think through their needs and then create a plan. But there is a minimum for everyone, and that is you must have a way to keep your phone charged. A common way to accomplish that is a portable power bank, and I think you should have one that is at least 20,000 milliamp hours in size. And this is an example of one from BioLite. Now, another option that provides a little more flexibility is a solar charger like this one from SunJack. And it actually comes with 2 10,000 milliamp hour batteries, and you can rotate them out. Keep one on the charger and then use the other one to keep your devices powered. But with all the power that we need nowadays, I really feel like we are wanting something a bit larger, somewhere around 750 to 1,000 watt hours. And this power station from EcoFlow is actually one of the smallest that they offer. The solar panels are also one of the smaller that they offer. They have some power stations that are even over 3,000 watt hours. A gasoline portable generator is still going to be the most efficient way to provide consistent high wattage power, but these machines can be deadly. We saw loss of life after the derecho. If you don't know for certain how to safely operate one, skip this option. These generators come in a variety of sizes, so check the wattage that you need. We talked about emergency power today, and previously we've covered food and water preparations as well as battery-powered light. And all of my emergency gear test content is available on the Fox Local app for your smart TV. After you download and log on, look under the weather page. There are many videos on demand, free and with no subscription required. But to leave me feedback or comments, go to my Facebook page. I'm at John Dawson, Fox 26.
All right, and also, by the way, you can get extended versions of JD's hurricane gear test and emergency gear test only here on Forecasting with Friends. So I love being able to show you that. Maybe we'll take a look later on in the week. So only a week has passed since a deadly tornado struck Brazoria County, leaving many families still in recovery as now they brace for this extremely cold weather. Fox 26's Jonathan Mejia spoke with one of those families in Alvin and shares their story.
Much better. I'm so happy when I see all these people help me, like my family, my kids, my grandkids. Like you see, everybody pick something, and my son's friends.
All hands on deck for the Mejia family as they continue to recover and process the damage that EF2 tornado left in Alvin, which is in Brazoria County.
Family, they're all on board. As a matter of fact, we got a small crew today, but yesterday we had a very big crew with the kids being off of school. And I have my two sons out here, so we've been at it. Everybody's been at it, so it's been a lot of progress.
The Mejias have piles of debris on their property. The roof of the house now has a tarp, but still has many holes.
I don't have words to say thanks to God. I stay alive because I never pepper something. Nobody imagine what has happened. Oh my God! I think my husband and I say together, we hug together, say. We live and we go together.
The Mejias had big plans to ring in the new year since the family couldn't get together on Christmas due to members battling the flu.
Our New Year's, we were counting our blessings. We were at my brother's house right down the street. He had a few trees down, but was able to, host a nice, New Year's, and we were just blessed.
With more severe weather on the horizon, a strong cold front and possible showers, it's something the Mejias are keeping their eyes on.
I don't have heaters because my heaters, I have a little shed over there with everything in there. Everything is, I don't know what happened, but it's okay. I can do it, no problem.
The Brazoria County Office of Emergency Management tells me they're working on a plan to help residents pick up the debris. So they're asking residents that have been impacted by this tornado to put all the debris on the roadside, and the county officials will stroll by and pick it up. Reporting in Alvin, Jonathan Mejia, Fox 26 News.
Yeah, so especially folks in some of those areas where they're not going to have electricity. You literally have a hole, in your roof. If folks are living in that kind of situation, and maybe try to direct them to a place where they can have a safer place to stay, because it is going to get likely into the 20s tonight. All right, so earlier in the program, I shared with you some pictures, some live cams from around the country over on the East Coast. Well, there is a lot of snow falling in Ohio and in Kentucky right now as well. And coming up after the break, we're going to talk to Kaylee Schuyler, who is joining us live from Cincinnati, Ohio, in the midst of a winter storm warning. We'll talk with her right after this. Oh man, this winter storm stretches over dozens of states, and it's already made a statement in the nation's midsection around places like Missouri, and now, as I showed you, it's hitting New Jersey. But right in the midst of it all is a city like Cincinnati, and that's where we find from Fox News, where the snow, I got to tell you, Kaylee, it looks really pretty.
Yeah, Mike, the snow is very pretty, but I think if there's one thing a lot of people are saying is just how dangerous it is. And we've seen it time and time again. Behind me, you can see actually a police officer right here. There was a plow truck that's trying to come by and trying to clear this way because we keep seeing cars spin out and get stuck in this little corner right here. But even then, we'll watch this truck come and plow a lot of this area, but then within an hour or so, it's going to come back with so much snow. The snow has not slowed down. Yesterday, Cincinnati saw about 8 inches of snow. That's from the Fox Forecast Center. And we're going to be seeing much more of that just because the snow just keeps pummeling down. And at first this morning, it was more of a freezing rain, kind of a sleet. And then it's turned up into more of a fluffy, bigger flake type snow. You actually see the shape of the snowflakes when they're falling down. And so one thing that's been making it very dangerous, though, are the streets. There's been a lot of traffic accidents, a few road closures here in this area because of how much snow is coming down on these roadways, causing accidents, causing slowdowns. There are also 6 deaths that have happened just from this winter storm. A majority of them were in Kansas, 2 in Missouri, 1 in Illinois, and they're all traffic related. And so that's kind of what officials are saying right now, especially here in the Cincinnati area. They have this warning, a snow emergency warning, that's showing that all roads are hazardous. They really do not want people on the roads. Mike, it is beautiful, and it's so amazing just to see how much snow can accumulate in a handful of hours. But if there's one thing that people need to understand, this winter storm warning is going to continue until midnight tonight, and they want to make sure people are not on the roads and that they stay inside. In Cincinnati, Chelsea Torres, Fox 26 News.
Chelsea, tearful apology. We had Kaylee Schuyler this morning. And I guess, I don't know, you guys must have like replaced each other's shifts. I'm so sorry, Chelsea.
It's okay, Mike. I was her photographer earlier. She's my photographer right now.
Are you serious? Is that right?
It's totally fine. No, I'm not. I'm not joking. No. We've been out here all morning, and it's cold, but we're trying to warm up as much as we can.
Okay.
So it's totally okay.
Well, I apologize to you.
Here.
I apologize to her. We always like checking in with both of you. Hey, real quick, I'm amazed because even whenever there's some huge weather event, like hurricane or whatever, there's always like some Yahoo out there that's still driving on the road. I'm surprised there's nobody out there other than the snowplow.
Yes. Well, there's been a few people that have been driving around, and I'll tell you, they keep getting stuck right here, which is why that snowplow keeps coming and trying to clear this area. 10 minutes ago, somebody just spun out. I shouldn't say spun out, but their cars were spinning right here at this corner. We've seen a handful of people, I'd say half a dozen people actually walking around, and they seem to just be walking leisurely, I guess, to see what the snow is like. But it's been very quiet, so much so that I haven't been able to really talk to anybody except for hotel staff, and this hotel has about 70% of their staff staying here because of these conditions.
Do you guys have a safe place or like a warm place to go to after you finish talking to me? Because I'm feeling guilty.
Like, don't feel guilty. About 50 feet away, we have a nice little heater and some blankets and a seat that we will get to go and sit down in once we're done with these lives. So Don't even worry about it.
You spent some time in Texas, didn't you?
I sure did. I'm from San Antonio.
So during your stay in San Antonio, were you there for the big freeze in 2021?
I was in Corpus Christi, and all we got was ice. We did not get any snow during that time. I know that they had the blizzard. I remember my parents sent pictures, and there was snow everywhere. So I did not get to experience it. So for me, a girl from Central Texas, this is probably one of the coolest weather stories I've ever been a part of. But also it's very dangerous. So, it's just mind-blowing. It really is, Mike, just to see how much snow has come down and it hasn't slowed down. I think that's the most mind-blowing part about it.
It looks way more impressive even than it did earlier this morning. Okay, say hi to Kaylee and Chelsea Torres, our Texas lady. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us here at Fox 26 here in Houston. Hope to talk to you again soon. Please be safe. All right, I swear to God, everybody, we did so. They're partners out there. Anyway. So I apologize. Let's take a look at the weather graphics again, because I'll show you exactly where Chelsea is and where her Kaylee is as well. Right there on the left-hand side of this map, so you'll see Cincinnati there. They are caught under a snow band. So this morning, in fact, there's even like a little bit of a rotation, a little twist you could see there. It's like a little counterclockwise twist. So they're under what you would call a meso-low, a mesoscale low. So the intensity of the snow is picking up there. It's probably going to start calming down for them over the next hour or so. But they are definitely still in the midst of it, and that's moving down to the south of Columbus, Ohio, and back over into parts of West Virginia as well. Now, in our part of the world, we just got the cold weather from it. We had rain and storms yesterday. Fortunately, no tornadoes, by the way, although that was feared. What's coming behind it really is just clear, cold conditions. Now, we're windy today. It's going to become less windy tonight. If the wind goes completely calm, we're looking for lows in the mid-20s. As long as we have a little breeze, it's probably going to be upper 20s because the conditions that favor the coldest weather typically are when you have a clear sky and no wind. We call that radiational cooling. Right now, we're still pulling in some colder air. It is 34 at this hour in Huntsville, just 2 degrees above freezing. Bush Airport is at 38. We had a high temperature of 78 yesterday. Hobby Airport is 39. The high was 80 yesterday. I mean, that is quite a whiplash. In fact, from yesterday afternoon's high to this morning's low, it was a drop of almost 50 degrees. Wind chill right now is still pretty nasty out there. It's not as bad as it was earlier this morning. We had the wind chill down to about 17 degrees. Now it's about 30. Still not pleasant, but not as bad as it was. All right, depending on where you are, your temperature will vary a lot tonight. So waking up tomorrow morning in places like Brenham, you should be down in the mid-20s most likely, about 25. So that is enough for you to have to worry about your pipes, to definitely cover up the plants. And of course, I'm not just talking about only in Brenham. I'm talking about that whole area. Same thing in Montgomery County and the Conroe area, back over to the northeast side of Harris County around Kingwood, down to about 28. The Clear Lake area and Pearland, I still think we are going to have a freeze. Probably close to about 30 degrees, maybe 29 degrees. So it's not a hard freeze that's just going to shatter pipes all over the place, but it is going to be enough to damage your plants if you don't protect them. Here's another look at predicted low temperatures tomorrow morning. Roughly 28 in Sugar Land, maybe middle 20s, even out around places like Tomball and Hockley and Magnolia and Navasota and those spots. Of course, the temperature is always going to vary a little bit, even within a city. But you just need to be prepared for the worst and hope that it stays at 30 instead of 26. But make sure your plants are protected. So check out this futurecast. This is the GFS computer model. And what we're going to see is a whole lot of nothing until late Wednesday, early Thursday. So notice how we start to see snow, even some heavy snow developing across West and North Texas. Coming up on Thursday, that turns into some actually heavy rain possible around here. Coming up on Thursday, it's also going to be very cold. So depending on if we stay in the upper 30s, we're looking for just cold rain with a little bit of sleet mixed in. If that temperature happens to drop a little more, then maybe there's a little more sleet mixed in. The action, the danger, is going to be farther to our north where that rain changes over to snow. And in between, you'll have a chance for some freezing rains, meaning some icing taking place. So that is the worst of the worst. That's what we don't want, is the second one from the left, freezing rain. That's what could happen for communities to the north from around Huntsville to Centerville, Madisonville, that area, north of Bryan College Station. There's a chance for freezing rain. We'll know more as we get a little bit closer. But for right now, I want to invite you to not just stay with us for Fox 26 News at noon, but Mondays with Mike is going to be here on Fox Local coming up at 1 p.m. and I discuss some of the preparations that you might want to think about making for the cold weather that we're going to have tonight, and we'll talk more about what some of the potential possibilities are. Hope to see you coming up in just over 30 minutes at noon.